Talk about the standoff between Senator Natasha and the Nigerian Senate. Her initial suspension period has elapsed, and yet she remains barred from legislative duties because of an ongoing litigation tied around her suspension. Now, this raises a constitutional question. Can a lawmaker be denied the right to represent her district almost indefinitely? And are the courts being used to subvert the very constitution they are supposed to uphold? Well, let's get some legal insight with our next guest. Kargbo is a senior advocate of Nigeria and one who is all too familiar with many of these political dramas. Thank you so much for dropping by this evening. It's good to see you again. It's been a while.
Good to see you too, and thank you for having me.
Right. Your 2 cents on this drama. Nigerians thought they've had enough. Probably we've seen the worst of it, but now it's turning a different corner. March 6th, 2025, the suspension began. If you do the math, it's supposed to have elapsed this week. But the Nigerian Senate is saying, hold on, there's still some more. What do you make of the recent development?
Let me start by telling my inner sentiment. Ordinarily, if we are not family, I won't be here because, like I had stated, there are better things to occupy us. But off camera, she told me, said, no, we're talking about people's representatives and their rights to be represented. And I said, oh, I didn't look at it in that sense. And because of that, I'll be here. You see, the National Assembly has to be a little bit more attentive to its constitutional status, mandate, and role. Of the 3 arms of government, it is the democratic arm. The judiciary is the one that is the champion of the rule of law, which is also an arm of our democratic tenets, our constitutional tenets. It's important, but at the base of it and at the base of our own governance system is the legislature. The legislature is primarily the democratic institution. The executive is not. And it's a constitutional institution, but it's not a democratic institution because what? It's not representative. And it is also not of us. The contract we have between us and the executive is that within a tenurial term, that is within a term, it would do that which it had promised during its own electionary campaign. We believe those in the electionary campaign voted it in and gave it the mandate to deliver those promises. But looking at what the Constitution has donated to it, the space, latitude, and powers that the Constitution has actually assigned to it, it becomes what? Undemocratic because what? It becomes a god, a demagogue. So I have always placed my faith in the National Assembly, which is the parliament, which is the legislature, because it is the one that has to check and minimize the misconduct, misbehavior, and abrasiveness or abuses of the executive. So I would expect it to be much more attentive to the people because what? It is the representative. We cannot recall Mr. President, but we can recall them because what? They are our own representative. They are the ones that we've sent to be what? A buffer between us and that dangerous institution we call the executive. So every sector, every part of Nigeria is supposed to be represented in that institution. And that is why the country is divided into senatorial districts comprising local governments of a population within the state or within a state in the federation to represent us and to be what? The big brother in the National Assembly. So if you now deny that senatorial district representation, it has to be justified. And the justification would have to be what? A very obvious misbehavior or a misconduct from our own representative, you understand, which we can accept and blame it on our own representative as a kind of what? Betrayal, because we did not send you there to go and misconduct yourself to the point that we will forfeit, waive, or be denied of the right to participate in lawmaking, oversight, and all that makes up what? The institution you call what? The National Assembly. So here it is. The Senate, rightly or wrongly, they are in court, right? I want to give judgment to it or give it a judgmental value. Rightly or wrongly, they have suspended her for 6 months. The 6 months is over. Why should it be an issue for her to come back? It's BS for you to tell me, oh, we are in court. You are in court for a purpose. And that purpose is, the subject is that suspension for the 6 months. If you take away that suspension of that 6 months, every other aspect of it that you talk about, deal with, or treat is academic. It's the 6 months that is the issue. And that 6 months has elapsed. She has to come back. If you now say, oh, we are in court, you are in court for what? Over what? What prejudice or what misconduct are you going to be accused of? What sort of interference are you going to have over the case that you have in court? Because in any case, at the end of the day, the best of it that would come, the best of the determination that is come, is a declaration. And the declaration is about what? That 6 months that has elapsed.
Can you take our viewers through the concept or principle of subjudice in the context of this conversation that we're having, especially drawing from the explanation of the clerk, saying, okay, we don't want to make a determination at this moment.
You are not determining anything. Mind you, beyond what would remain and would only be a live issue in court, irrespective of the course of action or issue before the court, is a declaration as to whether or not the suspension was legal. Right? And that declaration usually is not time bound. It will subsist even the live issue by itself, the live event. And now we are in court, yes, over that determination. Yes, subjudice means the matter is in court. The subject matter is in court. We should not interfere with it in order what? Not to influence its outcomes. Mind you, the court is supposed to be allowed to be the master and all of its own proceedings. It has to be given the what? The right, and not to be distracted, not to be influenced, or not to be, in any case, be influenced over the determination of an issue that is before it. So don't talk in a manner that is judgmental. Don't talk in a manner that will prejudice the public over the issue. Don't talk or don't do anything that would what? At the end of the day, render that issue, like we would call, nugatory. But what is the subject matter here? 6 months of suspension.
Right.
That is the subject matter. It has elapsed.
And are you
whatever that happens there, that declaration would not be affected.
So whatever the courts say regarding the suspension is immaterial or inconsequential in your view? Because the time has elapsed.
No. The only value that it will give to the public is the education as to whether or not that
suspension is legal.
Right. Because what? It's a precedent for tomorrow. So tomorrow, as a lawyer, I'm going to say, when this thing happened, this was how the court determined it. And therefore, if you act in a similar manner, this is what I think the court would say. You understand? But beyond that, this live issue is the suspension for 6 months. Right? The only other aspect of it I would have expected anybody to talk about is that they said 6 months. I don't know if I did not see the context of the content. 6 months plus apologize to come back. If you now say, oh, yes, she has served the 6 months, but she has not apologized, that can make sense. But to say, oh, no, let's not attend to it because the matter is in court, that's, to me, it's an affront to the system. Because mind you, the entire aspect of the judicial process is about what? Rule of law and justice. Right. And what does a rule of law says? Rule of law, first and foremost, say what? All of us, what? Are subject of the Constitution. Because it's the Constitution that says we are who we are. It's the Constitution that makes you a man. It's the Constitution that makes you a woman. It's the Constitution that makes you who you are and assign that space within which you breathe. Right. So, if the Constitution has said this, and you are doing something that now enhances that, you cannot now tell me that, oh, that by itself is hampered by the what? What you now call subjudice. Nope. Right.
Okay, let's take a look at that statement from the clerk of the Nigerian Senate. Let's zoom in on the last paragraph where, you know, the clerk was talking about how he has been further directed to inform Senator Natasha Akpoti-Oduang that her resumption or her suspension was with effect from March 6th, Thursday. I mean, if you do the math, it would have elapsed already. And to draw her attention to the fact that the subject matter of your suspension is presently before the Court of Appeal. The matter, therefore, remains subjudice. And until the judicial process is concluded, the Senate formally reviews the suspension in the light of the court's pronouncement. No administrative action can be taken by this office to facilitate your resumption. So, not only are they going to wait for the determination of the court, they're also going to have to review it. So, she's looking at...
You see, there is an obvious contradiction there.
Right.
There is no administrative action that is required after the 6 month suspension.
I mean,
Natasha is
have to facilitate
listen.
Allocation of her seats and everything.
Yeah, no, listen. Natasha is a senator. They can't deny her that. You understand? He's a senator. She was suspended by their own reasoning for misconduct. I am not going into the rightness or wrongness of that. I'm not going to go into the issue as to whether or not Natasha misconducted herself. Even if I were the person, I would have conducted myself in a better manner, knowing fully well that what? I am representing people, and the interest of my people is over and above my own ego, over and above my own pettiness, even if I go that route. But the issue here is that of constitutionalism, which is you don't do anything a minute, an hour, an inch, a mile beyond that which the Constitution has assigned to you. She is representing a senatorial district. Those people they have the constitutional right to be represented. And if the 6 months has elapsed, there is no administrative barrier to it to say we need to go and do some ceremony and do some sort of what? Declaration to lift that suspension. Nope. She's coming back because what? It's done. Deal.
And is this unprecedented? I mean, she's not the first lawmaker to be suspended. Is this, I mean, some of them have ended up in court, Aline Dume, Omar Gege in the past, but is this unprecedented with what's happening right now?
No, you see, the peculiarity here, let me step back and then talk law here then, because I'm talking about what affects all of us here. The annoying thing about what is happening here is a contest of egos. That is what is happening here. Senate President and the supporters believing that how dare you, petty you, to challenge us, and therefore what? We'll break your wings. That is what is happening. That's the language. Beyond that, every other thing is BS. You understand? And the affront to all of us is that we all sit here, watch this shenanigan going on, and we think it does not affect us. But mind you, this is a language. Do you know what they call the iceberg theory? The iceberg theory says, on the face of it, I'm not saying...
It looks small.
Yeah, I'm not saying what I'm saying. It's for you to make your deduction from what I am saying. You understand? It's just a tip of the iceberg. Which is the deep-rooted part of it that I'm talking about is the disdain, the spite that these gentlemen have for all of us. Because, hey, here it is. All of them, including Natasha. What is happening here is pettiness. You're trading egos. You're trading egos. And to me, you get away with it because what? All along you get away with Blue Mother because nobody cares. It doesn't concern me. It's their game. It is not their game. Because we do not believe that is what? There is some correspondence or correlation between what they do and who we are and why we are who we are or what we are.
Right.
That is why they are getting away with this. Because, hey, if I were Natasha, they gave her the olive oil to apologize. How would I say? Okay, sorry. Go on. Because mind you, when you have egos, I don't know if you read literature, the gods are not to blame.
Right. One of my favorite books, actually.
You understand? Right. We Africans, we invest more in our egos. Petty things that do not give us anything for our own bragging rights. Who can kill the world? Right.
And I mean, we're out of time. But final take on how you see this whole drama ending. Will it end in the courts, or do you think this would end in a political solution? Very briefly.
I'm just going to express my wish. I'm going to express the wish that somebody somewhere will say, hey, gentlemen, let this nonsense stop. Let's move ahead. You understand? And I would expect that to come from Mr. President, because Kogi State is APC state, right? Even if, I don't know, Natasha's party.
She's PDP.
PDP, if there is still PDP, with respect to them, you understand? And I would think that she will play the federal role and call them to order to say, hey, my people need assurance that what? They are part of the collective aspirations of this country. Let's bygone be bygone and let's move ahead.
Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Sam Kargbo, thank you so much as always for your insightful analysis on this one. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you very much.
On Daily Politics. I appreciate you very much for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Right, and that is a wrap on tonight's edition of the program. We'll be back tomorrow live, exclusive on Trust TV at 8 p.m. So feel free to be a part of our next edition. I'm Abdullahi Ahmed. From myself and the rest of the team, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.